the Auburn Blitz Podcast, your direct source for all Auburn all the time with Brett Pritchard, Faith Richardson, and Randy Lee.
What's up, everybody? Better late than never, I guess. Welcome into the Auburn Blitz podcast here on this Wednesday morning. We apologize. I'll say I apologize. Faith had nothing to do with it. All her stuff's working. Apparently mine's not. So, again, I appreciate Charter for coming through for me this morning. So if you're out there working with Charter, I'm sorry. I'm not trying to throw you under the bus, but we are a little bit behind this morning, and it is my fault. Really, not intentionally, but it is. So, Faith, good to see you. I guess it's good to actually finally see you because I guess I was just a big black square there for about 10 minutes.
Yeah, it's good to see you too, finally, because before you were a big blob, but good to finally see you and be on.
Yeah, apologize for us, again, starting late, but we are here and we're going to catch up. How about that? And we appreciate all of our sponsors here on the program. Sense of Green, for air that's cool and clean. Call on Sense of Green. They are the carrier experts here in the state of Alabama, saving you thousands of dollars on new installs. Proud supporters of Auburn Athletics and the Auburn Blitz Podcast. Scout Program Management, a full construction management firm in Birmingham, Alabama, specializing in educational construction projects, new schools, rebuilds, renovations, all that from the pre-construction phase all the way to the finished product. Scout will carry you from start to finish in bunkers in downtown Auburn. Really appreciate them. What a great job they do with their customer service. Outstanding, food, bar service, just newly renovated, even on top of them being new, added a new bar, just so much entertainment and fun in one place, and 50 parking spots in the parking deck. So really, really cool place. If you haven't been to Bunkers, it's one of mine and Faith's favorite places in Auburn. Go check it out on West Glen and Auburn. All right, we're finally rolling now. We'll get to some more of our partners here in just a minute. What are we going to talk about? A lot this morning. Football notes, freshman impact players, basketball rebuild. We'll start. I'll just kind of throw it in the hat there, Faith. I'll let you pick. Where do you want to start this morning? We'll get started.
Let's go ahead and just start with, why don't we start with basketball rebuild so then we can finish out with all football.
Yeah, that'd be perfect. Yeah. See, you're the planner. I'll just leave it to you, and I just let you guide the way there. So let's talk about basketball. What is this team going to look like next year? I think is the most important thing. With Janai Broome leaving, Dylan Cardwell leaving, Denver Jones leaving, and then Tahad Pettiford going into the draft, but with the option to come back. I mean, this is going to be a major rebuild here, and I think that's what we're used to in college basketball now. I think it's extremely important. I will say this, and then I'll get your take on this. I'm starting to get a little concerned about where we are in the portal. Now, again, in Bruce we trust, right? That's what we say around here. There's no doubt in my mind that Bruce Pearl will go out and find the guys that we need to come in and fill the holes that we're going to have. But I'm watching every single day, and especially yesterday, just a boatload of guys going ahead and taking that jump and making the move. We saw Mo Diabate make the move yesterday to Kentucky. The kid, the Quaintance kid from Arizona State who Auburn was in on, he goes to Kentucky. I mean, Kentucky is really spending some money right now. And there's some other teams. I know there's some speculation about Yoxel from UAB that he may not be 100% committed to Michigan now. And so he's back in, and he's one of the top, if not the top, big men in the portal. So where does Auburn go from here, I guess, is the question, Faith. It's just it's just one of those things that I'm worried about the timing. So,
yeah, I think it definitely has something. We need to be concerned about what's going on. And yeah, like we've said throughout the past couple of years, and Bruce we trust, but Kentucky has to be spending money this year.
Right.
We haven't seen a Kentucky team like this in a while, where they have not been up to their standard, and so they've got to spend that money, and they've had plenty of time because they've been out of the tournament for a long enough time. But we've got to get back into it quickly, and got to be able to get those guys that we need. So
we do. We got comments coming in. We'll get to those here in just a minute. I'm not ignoring what you're saying, Faye, just reading some of the stuff coming across. But yeah, roster changes are huge. Kentucky is under a lot of pressure. Let's be honest. They're a basketball school, have been a basketball school, and the last 5 years have been brutal for them. Early exits in the tournament, things like that, have not sat well with Kentucky fans. And so, yeah, new coach now, and especially what John Calipari just did at Arkansas, really has ramped up the pressure. So I know Pope is feeling that pressure. He played at Kentucky. He understands what goes into that. So so they're going out and spending the money. Kentucky's like, look, we're opening the bank for you to go get these guys and to build. And so they do have a team that should be really, really good next year based on who the pieces that they are going to get and what they've got coming back and all that kind of stuff. I don't really care. I'm caring about all what they have in an inside presence of losing, Dylan Cardwell and Janai Broome. What does that leave for this team? You got to go out and get some guys. So who does Auburn have coming in? Well, they've gone out and gotten Keyshawn Hall from Central Florida. Keyshawn Hall is a very good power forward / guard guy. You and I talked about him when we got him, and it was a huge get because everybody was all over him. And so he had a lot of positive things to say about coming to Auburn and wanting to play for a national championship and learn under the best. And Bruce Pearl is a great, I guess, promotion for Auburn's program. You got Abdul Bashir coming in from Casper College out of JUCO. His brother just committed to Kansas State yesterday. I know Alabama thought they were in on him, and but he's coming. He brings about 20.7 points per game with him. So both of those guys are tremendous scorers. Then you've got Cade Magwood that's coming in as a freshman. Sebastian Williams-Adams also coming in as a freshman, and Simon Walker. All right, so that's what Auburn has coming in. What happens with the current guys? Is CBM going to be back? I would say 75% yes. Faith.
Yeah, he keeps teasing it on all of his social medias, and I think with that guy, I think he's coming back. The way that he's been teasing it and asking and all that kind of stuff, he knows that the Auburn family loves him. So just the way that he's been posting about it, I really see him coming back.
Right, I do too. I think so. Chaney, it looks like there's still a possibility for Chaney to be back. We'll see. It doesn't – I don't really feel good about it, just based off the conversations that we've had with people and what we've heard. But there is a possibility there. On to one that is more of a mystery, and that's Ja'Kai Howard. And you and I have been all over the map with him this year. I know a lot of fans have been. I said this last night on Sports Blitz. I really think that he has kind of changed a little bit over the last month of the year. Of the season. I think that I saw a little bit more maturity out of him on the bench. I saw him becoming more of a cheerleader, which we didn't see earlier to mid part of the season. It looked like he was a guy that was mad, that was stuck in a place that he didn't really want to be anymore. And, after the Final Four loss, him consoling Dylan Cardwell and Tahad Pettiford, and he really looked like a guy that was picking guys up. And, sometimes you just got to mature, and we said that way back at the beginning of the year when the plane incident happened and all the stuff that went on. He and Bruce Pearl just kept saying, hey, look, his time's coming. We've had conversations. He's good. But the body language was not showing what he was saying. The body language started to change based on what I was seeing. Somebody else may have seen something different, but I just started seeing a guy that looked like he was having a little bit more fun, that had kind of accepted what his role was on this team coming down the line, maybe understanding that he wasn't ready to be a contributor this year, but his time was coming. So we'll see. I don't know, really. I guess a month ago would have said 95% chance he was out. I'm not that high on that anymore.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I spoke about it when I came back from the Ole Miss game, how it looked like he had nothing to do with the team, was kind of aloof in his own little world over there. And I agree. I've seen a lot more out of him throughout the past month. He looks excited. He looks like he wants to cheer his teammates on. And he's popped in the games for a few minutes here and there. And I think we saw when he was coming in the first couple of times, he would just go straight to the basket. We knew he wanted to score. I don't know where or when that conversation of, hey, take a second, keep your head up. You're not the only one that needs to go straight into the goal. Make something happen for other people. And I think that has changed his entire perspective and outlook. It truly does look like somebody has told him, make something happen for the next guy. And he's been that cheerleader on the side. He's had to pop in when, somebody gets hurt here and there. And I think that has contributed a ton to just the entire sideline, the entire bench, just being able to get excited. And so I would really like to see him stay. I think that he's got a lot of talent. And I think it does take a second for some people to actually kind of understand and realize that, hey, I want to be coached by these people. I don't want to just go somewhere else and get some more money. This team made it to the Final Four. There's so much potential. And like I said yesterday, you want these guys to step up because they saw where this team got, and you're one game away from being in the championship. And so I think he got a taste of that this past season, and I hope that that's good enough to make him stay.
I agree with you. I think you're spot on with everything that you said. And, again, flying the coop and going somewhere else necessarily isn't always the best option. If you get your emotions reeled in and look at your situation and the reason you came to that place to begin with, you want to go to a team where it's hard to get on the floor, right? Because that means you're going to be competing. And I know that, Ja'Kai Howard was a guy in high school, and in AAU, he's a high flyer. But that doesn't necessarily translate to you getting a ton of playing time as a freshman at your particular school. Look at Todd Pettiford. He was the ultimate team guy. He probably would have started on most anybody else's team, but he was the sixth man this year. But he handled it really well because he knew Denver Jones and Miles Kelly came in with a ton more experience, and he was able to learn maybe some things defensively from them. He got better defensively. You noted that a few weeks ago. And that's what, again, not many people have a guy that could come off the bench and score 20 as their sixth guy. But he didn't pout. He didn't say, look, I'm the superstar. I'm a draft potential. I'm the most talented guy on this team. I should be starting. He handled it with grace and maturity. And then that was our cross comparison with him and Ja'Kai this year. We saw Ja'Kai, maybe the body language on the field, not very good, kind of slow getting back on defense sometimes, no action on offense, standing in the corner. Again, you didn't see that with Todd, and then we saw that with Ja'Kai, and then it kind of went viral with one of those games where people were videoing and putting those clips out there of him not trying. But people handle things differently. I'm not here to throw darts. I think Ja'Kai improved is what I'm saying. I think at the end of the year, he matured. Again, you got to remember he's young. and everybody handles things differently. I think at the end of the day, both of us want him back. I think most everybody, Auburn fans, want him back. I think he's a key contributor. He's very talented, high ceiling, and with a year under his belt playing with this team, could really, really, really be a big piece for Auburn next year. All right, some comments here. Rebel Yell said, just a suggestion, the thumbnail that y'all use for the show could use an upgrade. Well, let me just say this, and yeah, no shot at Luke. He said, but if he can figure it out, y'all can. We do a thumbnail, Rebel Yell, and what we did is we're trying something a little bit different, and it has to do with analytics and the algorithm, and we saw that our shows were getting more views and getting pushed out more with the picture of Faith and I on the box. It's not that I've been doing thumbnails, Faith went since basically the beginning and putting them on there, but we're just trying some different stuff. So yeah, we may go back to some thumbnails, but yeah, we can do thumbnails, Rebel. Yeah, we appreciate it. And we can go back to those, but we're kind of monitoring some things right now with our algorithm and all that. Kyle said, read this morning on the scrimmage intel, Malcolm got banged up. He's good. Hey, I talked to Malcolm. He's good. Maybe a little bit of a strain in one of his shoulders, but he's good. And when he tells me he's good, he's good. So he would tell me if something were different. So, but Malcolm is going to be fine. All right. Civilian Development Group. Howard could have stepped or helped this team late in the season with his athleticism, and he seems to score every time he got in the game. Reason Auburn doesn't have a chip is injuries piled up. Look, I agree with that. Like the injuries, this team was banged up. I was in a text thread last night with some people, and, now that the dust is settled, it's like, man, we really had a good chance to win a national championship. We were as good, if not better, than all the three other teams in the Final Four. And, it's rare that you get to maybe a Final Four and you look up and you're probably the best team or as good as the other three. But it was injuries. It was the longevity. This season finally caught up with Auburn, Faith, and we were not healthy. I mean, CBM was a walking mash unit. Janai Broome was lucky to even be in the Final Four with what happened in that Michigan State game. I mean, it's just we were tired, and the fatigue kicked in for our team in the second half. And I would love to have seen our team as close to full strength as possible to see what we could have done. But, hey, you know what? That's sports. That's life.
Right. Things happen. And I asked you, I said, when the beginning of the championship game was going on, I said, do you think we'd be able to beat this Houston team? And I think because Florida they didn't show up in that first half, which is why I asked you about Houston, because they were so physical. And you said, and I'll put you on the spot here, you said,
No.
I don't think so. And I think a lot of it does have to do because of the injuries, because we can't be as physical as they were. Those guys
weren't the same team this time as we were earlier when we played them.
Well, neither were they. Good
No,
Lord. I don't think they were either.
Right.
But the injuries just, they had so much to do with it. And I think for CBM to come back, I think he is going, not that I don't think he's been trying to, but he is going to have to put on some weight and put on some muscle, because he can't be a walking liability every time he gets out on the court. And I know that it's hard for some people. He's 6'7". That's got to be hard to put on some weight, being that tall. But
people do it.
Right. And he's going to have to, because for him to come back, we don't need every single time for him to fall on the ground for it to be a bone bruise or something like that, because he doesn't have the muscle to brace the impact, I guess.
No, you're right. I mean, I think that was an issue. And look, 6'7" guys, yeah, with a high metabolism, stuff to put weight on, but you got to get on some type of nutrition plan to bulk up. I mean, we see it happen all the time. We see guys go from one year to the next. Oh, of course. But you see it in basketball too. A guy that has to play a position where sometimes you're going to have to get down and bang and battle for rebounds and things like that. And you're going to get shoved around, and you're going to hit the floor. And you just got to do some things. So, there's a lot of that kind of stuff that that personally you have to dig deep and say, okay, I got to do this for myself, right? So we'll see how it all plays out. But there's a good nucleus for this team to come back, and then we got to get 2 or 3 more pieces out of the portal. And look, the last thing we'll say about basketball, we'll move into football. It is imperative that you have an inside game again in this game. I mean, look at Florida, look at Michigan. We can go down the line of teams that made hay with guys inside, and we did too. I mean, we were the way we were this year and as good as we were because we had 2 really good bigs. We had one that could do both defense and offense, and we had one defensive specialist in Dylan Cardinal. He's not going to give you a lot of points, but he's going to protect the rim, and he's going to defend out on the perimeter. He was one of the best defenders in the country for his size. So He could get off. He could switch. He could get back down low, and he could, he was a guy that could just do it all defensively, rebound, whatever. So Auburn's got to replace those guys. And it's a very, very important part of Bruce Pearl's game and what we have. So, all right, football notes, scrimmage from this past weekend. Everybody's hearing the same stuff. The thing about it is you hear all the same stuff. Offense behind the defense, which I told you yesterday, that's not a bad thing.
Right.
So, one of the things that we look at is who are making the plays, and is it the defense making plays that's causing the offense to be behind, or is it the offense not making plays and everybody going, okay, well, the defense is ahead of the offense? Well, I think it may be a little bit of both, because I don't want to start a quarterback controversy already. And when you got 2 guys vying for this position, Faith, you're going to have this talk, and you and I will be at practice tomorrow, so we're going to get to see some things up close and personal. But all the buzz coming out of the scrimmage was Deuce Knight making plays and scoring, and Jackson Arnold, the first drive was 3 and out, and it did, it just, again, it's the first look that we've had of any of this. Guys are still trying to get acclimated. But I will say this, and I'm going to go out on a limb, because like I said, we're not going to straddle a fence here. We're going to go ahead and make a decision. We're going to go out there and say something. I don't think it's fair to say that Jackson Arnold's just going to be the starting quarterback because we went out and got him out of the portal. If Deuce Knight is ahead of schedule, which we're hearing, and the praise that he's getting and the plays that he's making, if he's the best guy, he's got to be the starter. We can't go back down this path again of, Peyton Thorne is, back. Well, we're going to stick with him because we went and got him and all this kind of stuff. I mean, if Jackson Arnold wins the job, then so be it. But I don't think it's fair I'm hearing several people say, he'll absolutely be the starter when it comes time to start the season against Baylor. How do you know that right now? I don't think that is not a fair analysis, and that is a closed-minded way of going about analyzing these 2 quarterbacks. If you're going to go ahead right now in April and say, well, Jackson Arnold, I'll bet everything will be the starting quarterback come time for the first game of the season.
Well, let me play devil's advocate.
Okay.
What have we seen the last year? We saw Peyton Thorne being the quarterback, and I'm just going to say what I heard all over campus last year. And this is not from anybody that is credible or whatever, but it was all over campus. And there were a lot of people that I do believe the reason that they said these things. Why is Auburn going and spending that much money to bring somebody in and not play him? Talking about Peyton Thorne. That's why they're going to play him. Do I think all of that is true? I don't know. But we saw multiple times the past 2 years that Peyton Thorne was not the guy in a lot of situations. I mean, think about when we had Robbie Ashford too. And I don't know about you,
What a
Brett, but
nightmare. What a nightmare our quarterback situation's been.
so here's the thing. I don't blame a lot of people for thinking that not Robbie Ashford, that um
Like I said, it's been a nightmare.
yeah, I don't blame people for thinking that because we got him out of the portal that he's going to be the starting quarterback. Um a Deuce Knight, I think you and I have seen a lot of really good things from him. Just from the little that we've seen from him. But I don't think this quarterback battle is anywhere near decided or over.
People just
And
need to slow down a little bit.
yeah,
I mean, really.
I it's April 9th. There's no starting quarterback yet. And I think Jackson Arnold, I think he's good. I think he's had that he's played in the college level.
Can we just let it play out?
Yeah.
I mean, seriously.
I I hope that people aren't going to drive some of them away and be so negative towards them before before the first game has even been played, because we've just seen some of the negative parts of the fan base, and
Right.
just some of those things are really disappointing. So I think both of them have a fair chance of going and taking that starting position, whether it's a freshman or whether it's somebody that we got out of the portal. And that's where I think sometimes NIL has ruined some of these sports, because I get it. Why am I paying somebody to sit on the bench if we paid him so much to come here?
It's roster management. It's the chance you take. We were talking about who are we getting in this class? What quarterbacks Auburn getting in this coming class? Well, do you go after the most elite guy, the number one quarterback in the country, and spend that kind of money when you've got a 5-star plus transfer from Oklahoma and a 5-star freshman in your quarterback room? And the answer probably is no, because you have to expect that one of these guys probably won't be here next year. It's just the way it is. I'm not saying they will leave, or one of them will leave. I'm saying you got to kind of expect it now, because the outlier example here is Arch Manning. And Quinn Ewers, Arch Manning has sat there for 2 years, which I think shows his dedication to Texas, shows his family's dedication to Texas. But we all heard the rumblings midway through the year that Quinn Ewers was having a good year and leading Texas, and that he could come back another year. And I'm telling you right now, there were meetings and there were conversations. And I promise you, the Manning family said, if Quinn, no shot, if y'all want Quinn Ewers to come back for another year, then we're going somewhere else, and he's not going to be here. And so Quinn Ewers, of course, NFL or one final year somewhere in college, at that point, they had probably made a decision even before the season was over that he was moving on regardless, because they probably said, we appreciate it. You've been great for us, but we're moving with a guy that we can't lose our next guy in line and then you after next year and then have to start all over again. This is part of the way you're having to manage your roster now. There is no, we're good for the next 3 or 4 years with our quarterbacks, because everybody can jump ship. I mean, we're looking at a situation where we've got 3 brand new quarterbacks in our quarterback room right now. None of these guys were even here last year. So this is the way you have to look at it. And so you have to play the best player. And it's dumb to think that you would not play the best player and that you're playing somebody because you're paying them and you feel like you're obligated to have to play them. You go out and you pick the guy that's performing the best, period.
Yeah, you would think that that's how people would set these things up. But I do trust Coach Freeze, and I do trust everybody,
Ken
all the
Austin.
coaches. Yeah. So I think it's a good competition between the guys to work to see who's the best, because I don't think we're going to see the same thing that we've kind of seen throughout the years of
Right.
who's getting playing time and who's not. I think this is going to be really the year where we will see the right person who fits in with the offense the best. And I don't know who that's going to be yet, but I do believe that one of them will fit the offense the right way and will make things actually happen for us. And so that's always a really, positive, hopefully encouraging thing for them to look forward to.
I don't want to get bogged down from now till August 29th talking about the quarterbacks every time we're on here. Okay. I mean, it's the natural progression to talk about the quarterbacks. It is the straw that stirs the drink for your team. I, without even looking at everybody else's podcast and stuff, know that I would be willing to bet that that's what they're talking about too. So I don't want to do that. I don't. I mean, because it's just so easy to talk about this quarterback battle till you're just wanting to throw up. Look, you've got to, again, like you said, trust the coaches. They're going to make the best decision. I like that we got two great options. I think it's great. And if one at the end of the year decides to leave because one has taken over and they want to go try somewhere else, so be it. You can't worry about what's going to happen 9 months or 10 months from now. You got to just say, we're in this thing to win it. The best guy's going to play. And that
We've got to
mean
hope that nobody leaves after A-Day because people are going and talking to them. That's
true.
what we have to worry about now. We have to worry about holding on to them till the season starts.
True. I try to just skip past that. I know the portal window will be open for us to go out. And, last year we did the same thing. We went out and got some pieces after spring. Other schools are going to try to get some of our guys. It's the world you live in. So yeah, moment by moment. How about that? We'll stick to that. You can't look 2 weeks into the future nowadays. You got to really look at the here and now. So, freshman impact players, Faith. You and I have talked about, freshman impact players, and I'll just start in my perspective on who I saw coming out of high school and who I think maybe will be some guys that we'll see in the mix. I don't necessarily mean this will be starters, but guys that I think, and then I'll see if you agree with me based off our conversations and stuff. Let's take Deuce Knight out of the mix, okay? Yeah. Does he have a chance to play? You bet. Absolutely. I think that's a given, and we're hearing a lot of great things. Have we talked a lot about Sam Turner over the last 2 weeks? We have. Has everybody else? They have. So we know Sam Turner is probably going to work his way in and get some pretty significant playing time. Deuce Knight threw a touchdown pass to him in the scrimmage. That was a really good – I mean, we've seen the video of that. So that's great. He's going to make plays, but so are all those other receivers too. All right, who else are some of the guys that we're looking at? I'm going to start with the defensive line, and I'm going to say there's 2 guys, maybe 3, that stand out to me as true freshmen that I think are going to get in the rotation. You know who the first one I'm going to say is, because I've said it every time since the state championship game to you and to everybody that will listen. Jordan Crawford, he's going to play. And I don't know how much he's going to play, but in a position where we're thin in depth, he's going to play. And I think he's going to get better every time he goes on the field. He's going to garner more attention. He's ready to play in the SEC right now. You hear, Kieran Crawford and some of these other guys talking about him. They're kind of blown away with where he is right now. So I'm going to start there, Faith. Agree or disagree?
Oh, I agree. You've talked about him literally since
you and I were at the state championship game.
Yeah, and I was there for that, and so Yeah, you've talked about him a lot in, I mean, I guess staying on the D-line, Malik Autry. I think we've also talked about him a lot and how he's his size.
He's massive.
Yeah,
He's massive.
is just is what helps him, and he don't look like a freshman.
No, he does not. And, got a chance to see him several times this past year in high
Yeah,
school and knew he was physically ahead of the game. When you're looking at guys and you're talking about freshmen, no question they're talented. And when you look at their star ranking, and that's why you recruit them, but most of the time, what prevents them from getting significant playing time is, are they physically ready to get in there, especially in certain positions like defensive line? Because I'm going to add another guy to the list that I think is going to play, but maybe not a lot right out of the gates, Jared Smith. Because when I look at Jared Smith, yeah, he tall, lanky, real fast, wreaked havoc at Thompson High School. But in the SEC, it's a different monster going up against left and right tackles in this league. And somebody that's been in college football for 3 or 4 years versus a true freshman that needs to put on some weight. I told you that's what stood out to me with him the other day when we saw him, that lower half, he's going to have to get those legs bigger. I mean, because that's where all your power comes from, especially in an edge rush position. And he's going to have to build, because when he was standing next to Keldrick Faulk,
I told y'all what Keldrick's thighs looked like.
Yeah, he was as big as your body.
Yeah, so
as big as your torso. So yeah, he's what you look like 3 years into a SEC program. That's what you want to look like. Period. And
absolutely,
so he's going to get there. Jared Smith's going to get there, but it's going to take a little bit. All right, a couple more, and then we'll shut it down for the day because we have a long and busy day ahead of us today. It'll be a good day. It'll be the best day ever, like we always have here on the Auburn Blitz podcast. New Boy Fagans, another Thompson guy. I go back to watching him in high school. His football IQ is through the roof. I watched him in the Alabama-Mississippi game go head-to-head against Deuce Knight. And Deuce Knight single-handedly almost won that game for Mississippi, but Alabama and Kirk Johnson was the defensive coordinator for that team. Obviously, somebody you and I know really well now at Benjamin Russell, and he and I had conversations about Anquan. He's like, look, man, the guy is – he said if we could have turned him loose in all-star games, you can't blitz and do all that stuff. And he was still making plays, and he was still reading passes. And, he made a big interception to end the game there in the Alabama-Mississippi game to help Alabama win that game. He is physically a great player, but Faith, the thing that's going to get him on the field is his football IQ and being able to read coverages and know where to go and knowing how offenses line up and getting in the right position to make plays. We watched him do that in practice the other day, and it looked like, I can't remember if it was Jackson or Deuce. I think it was Jackson that made a pass, and you and I went, good Lord, that was terrible. And then we looked up and said, no, really, that wasn't terrible. That was just an unbelievable play by Anquan Fagans. And he's out there flying around, making that play, creeping up, reading the tendency of where that pass was going to go. And he beat the receiver to the spot, and he almost made an interception. I mean, so, yeah, a great player in the secondary can make a quarterback look like they made a bad decision.
It's easy to – well, I don't want to say easy, but when we're saying we've seen it at practice and stuff, sometimes they're running the same thing over and over again. Of course, he's going to start to read it. But you've watched him for how long now? And you've seen that he's been able to do this on other offenses. And so it's just a skill level that some people just don't have, and they have to practice on it. But he has that naturally, that natural football IQ that is setting him up for success more than some of the other guys. And as a freshman coming into a conference like this, that is so important for him to be able to make that opportunity to get out on the field.
Right. Another guy I'm looking forward to watching, and I won't say much about him, is Keldrick's brother, JJ. You talked about him yesterday. You and I talked about that. He's making some strides and, vying for one of those linebacker positions. Will he play some? Yeah, as a depth. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, he's going to play some there. So I'm looking forward to it. Toolman said Fagan is going to be a beast. I think we had such a good recruiting class. I'm not going to say he was the best guy that we got out of this class, but he's at the top, man. He's one of the top 3 for sure. Just his versatility, again, football IQ that he brings to the table, just the whole package, and very physical, very, very physical. Will hit you, will knock the paint off your helmet. So he's the complete package, man. He is an NFL player. So, well, anyway, about wrapping things up here now, and I think maybe my face is freezing a little bit. I don't know, but hopefully it's not. But we'll go ahead and wrap things up here. Again, we appreciate everybody that watches and listens every single day. Faith, feel free to add some stuff. I'm about to go through and hit some more of our partners here on the program before we get off. Sure Shot in Alexander City, the place to go for all your outdoor apparel, firearms, anything hunting. Make sure you go and check them out. We really appreciate them so very much for what they do for our program. Turkey season is underway, so make sure you go check them out in Alexander City on Highway 280. Oliver Ross, a full-service bartending service that will take care of you for 20 people up to 20,000. A fraternity, sorority party, a wedding, whatever it is, check them out on Instagram and Facebook. Really, really awesome people, and they will do a good job for you, make you look like the talk of the town with your gathering or your party. Old Number One Customs, if you're looking to remodel your kitchen or your bathroom, they're the ones to call on. 0% financing. They can get it done up to 2 weeks and get you out, or they'll get out of your way and have you in a brand new kitchen or bathroom. And JFA Blue Plumbing, the whole water filter, whole home water filter, Atlas water filter, they can come in and install for $15.99, 0% APR, 0% down. They want you to have the best drinking water possible. They don't want you to have anything, any health problems because you're drinking bad water. So call on JFA Blue Plumbing to get that whole water system installed in your house, that home water filter system, and make sure you're drinking healthy water. So Faith, I'll let you close out anything you'd like to add before we hit the road today.
No, I hope everyone has the best day ever. Be nice and make something happen. Do something good.
We always like to say that.
Best day ever.
Absolutely. Everybody have the best day ever. Again, like Faith said, go out, do something positive today. Be nice to people. It's just as easy to do that as it is to be mean and hateful. So again, we appreciate all of our partners here on the program. Appreciate all of you that find us. Continue to share our content out there. We'll work on our thumbnail Rebel Yell for you. We'll get some things straightened out. But yeah, we are trying some different things, and we appreciate all of you so very much. Have a great and blessed day out there, and a big O.
War Eagle.